Sheesh, 26,000 bombs in one single year. In one single year, y'all, that is a lot. That man has taken a lot of lives. I can guarantee you that. What is up, what ifers? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Bo, and today we're gonna be checking out some videos that might ruffle your feathers a little bit. So you're gonna want to stay locked in, cause you ain't gonna believe this.
The Democratic Party, I'm gonna say it tonight,
listen closely
so that you won't be confused, is the Antichrist Party.
Thank you.
It is anti-family.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna say this, you're not gonna believe it, but it is anti-black folk.
Thank you.
You are only needed for votes.
Thank you.
Only loved when it's time to get your votes. There's no real care about you. And see, we still stuck, and we got that thing ingrained in us that this is the party for the black man. It is not. The party has changed. Black people, really, to be honest with you, have never been the priority. They have only been used. Go back and look at the Civil Rights Act of 1964. We've all given Democrats credit for that, but Johnson was the one that wanted to pass it, but he couldn't get enough Democrat votes to pass it. It was the Republicans that pushed and passed the 1964 Civil Rights Act. Go tonight and look it up. Look at Wiki, W-I-K-I, put it in there, 1960. He couldn't even get enough Democrats to vote for it. So he had to go to Republican senators in order to help him out. They are anti-life. The party pushes stuff that's anti-life. It pushes anti-morality because most of their policies are immoral. That pushes sexual perversion.
Thank you.
It is the party of death. Why do you say that, Pastor? If you go back, you'll see slavery started with the Democratic Party.
Thank you.
And we saw many slaves that died. We also saw under Jim Crow. Jim Crow was established by Democrats. And we saw under Jim Crow how many were hung and lynched. And then we are seeing today how many babies. African-American people are giving up their future because they won't have, in another 15, 20 years, they won't have enough people because they have cut their birth rates off and have aborted their children. This is exactly what the party wants. So it is a party of death when it comes down to it. It is a party that is against black families. Look at the history of the family.
Hey, these are all facts, man. You know, I spoke about this, man, a while back on this channel, and I was, explaining how black people were actually Republican before they became Democrat, and how when we were Republican, we had things like Black Wall Street. We were thriving during that time. And it wasn't until we switched over and became Democrats when everything started to go downhill. So, I mean, when you look at things in that manner and you look at it for what it is, you got to agree with what the pastor is saying. But hey, I'm just a regular old person. I don't know nothing. Now, this next video is about Trump and how he's trying to get rid of property taxes and how some other people are trying to get in his way because they don't want that to happen, because they know that once that happens, then they have no funds to dip in and put money in their pocket for themselves. But let's check the video out.
Cannot believe the number of leftists in the video I made where President Trump is calling on all states to do away with property tax. They're upset that their county may not be able to collect property tax.
Which is crazy.
How are you going to be upset about not having to pay taxes on something that you've paid for 15 times over? We are taxed on everything constantly, taxed and taxed again and overtaxed and retaxed. But they do not want this president to have any type of a win. They want to keep paying those property taxes to their county. That is literally one of the funniest things I have heard this entire week from these people. Imagine hating your president so much that you want your country and the citizens in it to fail. I am so glad I am not a part of the left. They sure are funny, though. Y'all have a wonderful day. God bless you.
And it kind of make you think, because I was always raised that if there's a bunch of people telling you why they don't like somebody, then 9 times out of 10, that person is probably a good person, and you should probably try to get to know that person yourself, right? But to see a whole party that gets upset because they don't want him to do away with property taxes, it's diabolical to me, because that actually means that they want us, the people, to keep paying these high property taxes and not have an actual good life, which is strange. But I digress. This next clip is seemingly about some Hebrew Israelites marching down the middle of a gathering for Christians, I believe. I'm not really sure.
Israelites protesting in front, and so we're just going to try to show them some love, but they're coming now right in front of us.
And you know what the crazy part is to me is that nobody sees that all religion is divisive. Because if I gotta look at you as a person and say, you know what, I don't like you because you praise Jesus, or I don't like you because you praise Yahashua or Yeshua or whatever the name is, or I don't like you because you praise Muhammad or whatever the case may be. If I gotta look at you and say that, that is 100% divisive. And I choose not to follow or subscribe to any of it because of that reason. I don't want to hate nobody. And I definitely don't want to hate you because of what you believe in. One thing I can't stand, I respect everybody's religion. I'm an omnist. But don't try to come to me and convince me why I should be what you are or believe in what you believe in. That is the most disrespectful thing you can do. Now, in this next clip, it's funny because everybody wants to say how bad Trump is. And look, I lean toward policies. And so far, this man has kept all of his promises. So I'm riding with that. But when you go back and you look at previous administrations, they were all warmongers. President Trump has not started one war. In fact, he has actually created peace everywhere. Let's check the video out though.
Now, isn't this interesting, y'all? Barack Obama dropped 26,171 bombs in a single year on Iraq, Syria, Afghanistan, Libya, Yemen, Somalia, and Pakistan without congressional approval.
Sheesh, 26,000 bombs in one single year. In one single year, y'all, that is a lot. That man has taken a lot of lives. I can guarantee you that.
We all know that would be a serious problem, or that has been. The Democrats and the liberals and the far leftists and the progressive have pushed, and the rhinos have pushed against President Trump at every turn. Okay? Donald Trump ended 8 wars in a single year. Guess which one received the Nobel Peace Prize? And by the way, I'm gonna have to do another video for that lady. She is a class act. The lady who just was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. Guess what she did? She gave it to Trump because she says I'm gonna have to read the article. I clipped it earlier and I'm gonna check it out. But anyway, just check it out. Check it out on my other video a little later. But she gave up her Nobel Peace Prize in honor of President Trump because of the work he's done. He shut down what? 8 wars in 1 year. While some of our other presidents, the previous presidents, launched missile after missile after missile. Now, once again, I know President Trump did launch some missiles. I know he did in his first term. That was about peace through strength. Look at the after effects or the aftermath Look at the results after these things have happened. Now, they said President Trump will lead us, they said it in his first term, and they said in the second term, he will lead us into World War III. Do y'all see us in World War III at the moment? Do y'all see us receiving missile after missile after missile into this country? Bomb after bomb after bomb going on? By the way, still pray for this country, because there's a lot of people who are unhappy. President Obama, while I was thankful to see someone that looked like me enter the White House, enter the highest office of land, yes, that was historic for my community. However, I didn't vote for him. I didn't vote for him because, just like I don't vote for anybody, including President Trump, if his policies and his campaign promises go against, or at least for the most part, because none of them are perfect, go against my core values. I value a sound border. I value a strong economy. I value a wonderful, peaceful workplace. I value children. I value women. I value a peaceful life. I value the opportunity to start a business or to work a good job. I value freedom of what they call religious expression. I'm not religious. I'm relational. But anyway, I digress. So I value those freedoms. I value the right to bear arms. I value free speech, even though speech is not free, because you can suffer consequence or experience or be rewarded beneficially, receive the rewards if you talk right, just like you can suffer some type of punishment if you talk wrong. You just call it what it is. Free speech is really not free. But anyway, I digressed again. Let me know what you think. Would you rather a leader forget the skin color and forget the names of the persons? What do you like these results? Do you like the results of us being in war, sending bomb after bomb after bomb to different countries, or do you like peace? Let me know what you think.
Well, I definitely like peace, and I ain't gonna even lie. I feel a whole lot safer since Trump has been in office, and people can talk all they want to. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. And man, me and my wife ain't been able to go out on the town and feel safe in years. But we can do that now. It's different. I'm starting to see kids back outside. You know why? Because the parents are like, it's okay. You can go outside. It wasn't like that here a few weeks ago. What the National Guard and the help from others came here and did in a couple of weeks, our police department couldn't even do in 10 freaking years. And I got to say, man, I am grateful for the work that Trump has done. And just so we be clear that he ended these wars in the last 9 months. It ain't even been a year he been president. Let's get that clear. It's only been 9 months. Now, people that are Democrat, you can have your opinion. You can do whatever you want. But at the end of the day, you cannot say this man is a warmonger. He has not put this country in danger. Despite what you've heard from TikTok videos and what other people has told you, if you ain't went and done the research yourself, then what you're saying is irrelevant. This man is the poster boy for peace. He has shook hands with many world leaders and ended a lot of senseless wars, saving a lot of important lives. But I digress. In this next clip, the Chicago mayor actually does not want the violent criminals to be locked up because he said that's not the way to get rid of violence. You know what? Let's just check the clip out.
Nah, don't yell now. Now y'all want to yell some racial shit. This shit crazy. Told you that was coming to Chicago. Detroit, you next, man. All violent gun criminal states. Yeah, he's coming. Peep this shit though.
We cannot incarcerate our way out of violence. We've already tried that, and we've ended up with the largest prison population in the world without solving the problems of crime and violence. The addiction on jails and incarceration in this country, we have moved past that. It is racist, it is immoral, it is unholy, and it is not the way to drive violence down.
Yeah, it's racial now, huh? We don't try this before, man. What the fuck? You just, what we supposed to do? Just let the motherfucker, like, do you all hear this, dog? Just fuck it. Just let them do it. We don't try to arrest them. What you want to do? What you want to do? These niggas to keep killing each other? That's what it sound like. It sound like you just keep letting them smoke each other. Because at the end of the day, what you expecting these people?
It's almost as if the Democrats want the violence to keep coming and going on, as if it brings in money. Now, in this next clip, it's actually talking about the woman who actually dedicated her Nobel Peace Prize to President Trump, since they didn't want to give him one. And I believe he deserves it. But let's check the video out.
About surrounding the subject of President Trump winning. Over the past couple of weeks or so, there's been a lot of traction about surrounding the subject of President Trump winning the Nobel Peace Prize. Now, this supposedly is one of the most noblest awards that is handed out or given to someone who has done some type of significant act, nationally related, maybe even international. Again, I'm not an expert on that. Just a little bit I understand on it. Anyway, this kind lady serves in Virginia. She's Venezuelan. I believe she's going for a political position in Venezuela. Her name is Maria Corina Machado. She immediately dedicates her Nobel Peace Prize to President Trump. And the caption says, or not the caption, but the article says, she has more integrity than the entire Nobel Committee. Okay? So, there's been a lot of talk, as I just said. He's been nominated by many world leaders, President Trump, that is. He has helped been integral in shutting down or helping create peace or broker peace between nations over the past 9 months since the 2025 election win, and of different nations around the world. Most notably, the one that's lately has been between Israel and the Hamas. And so, since he was snubbed by this committee, she did the most honorable thing, or one of the most honorable things, and she honored President Trump with gave him an honorable mention and said she's going to accept it on his behalf. Why? Because well, as we can see, you just can't trust these nuts. The deep state is deep and the swamp is very murky. That's what all of this proves, okay? Just call it what it is. Now, I know some people out there still needs the paperwork and the documentation. They need to hear their favorite journalist or reporter or propagandist or their favorite news organization or their favorite influencer talk about how corrupt the entire system is across the board. Remember, there's a lot of evil that goes on in this world. Most of us are sheltered by, based on our, probably sheltered to some degree, based on our environment, based on our upbringing. Some of it is willfully, is voluntary. We volunteer. Some of us have volunteered to be ignorant. And that is one of the most dangerous things you can do to yourself. It's like planting a bomb in your own backyard. And you act like you didn't know you did it. And so that's denial. So anyway, she did an honorable thing. President Trump, again, I personally believe this entire presidency, this entire time this season is much bigger than President Trump. I just happen to believe he's one of the key central figures for this time, for this age, for this moment in the world's history. Not just in American history, but the world history. And so many of us have all been affected in one way or the other. I do not expect everyone to like President Trump, and quite frankly, I don't care. Because we live in a world where people choose to do what they're going to do, think the way they want to think, and believe what they want to believe. So there are many people who believe in lies, deceptions, and delusions. And so some people say, well, what wars have he stopped? All these 8 months, 9 months, he stopped 8 wars. What war? Look it up. That's what I've told some people. They instead of them actually having a conversation going and looking up the information first and then presenting it, they want to go ahead and just get into what I call a wasteful, useless debate. That's all I want to do. Try to shame you, call you coon, call you Uncle Tom, call you a token and all that stuff. Well, to me, I think they just have, I think the term is mental illness. I think people like that, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, are suffering from mental illness. It's called truthitis. They are suffering from not getting any truth or not enough of it. And so that's why they're suffering truthitis, okay? And so until hopefully they get over it in the coming days, weeks, months, and the next few years, because I believe we're in a precipice of some great turnarounds, some great flips. Great days are ahead, people. I'm telling you. I strongly believe this. Great days are ahead. Trump is one of the key central figures, and you're going to see it for yourself if you allow yourself to. I'll say it like that. So kudos to Miss Machado. Congratulations, President Trump.
So for anybody wondering about what 8 wars did he help settle, well, let's just go through them, okay? So the first one is the Siberia and Kosovo War. You can look all these up. The Egypt and Ethiopian War, the Cambodia and Thailand War. These weren't really talked about because, I mean, you got to think about who runs the media. People that don't like Trump. The India and Pakistani War, Israel and Iran, the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda, the Armenia and Azerbaijan, or Bajan, however you say that, and the Gaza War. Now, that is some pretty good accomplishments if you ask me. Cause I don't know a president who's ever done that. In fact, I think most presidents think that wars are profitable, even if it means putting our troops in harm's way, who are really regular, American citizens. They just fight for our country. So yeah, those are the 8. And we should be proud to say that we had a leader that stepped in, not just save our country, but save other people's and their countries. We should be proud, man. In this next clip, though, Trump is trying to get the troops paid. He's trying to get federal workers paid. But you know who is standing in the way of that getting done. That's exactly why we're still in this government shutdown.
Breaking news tonight out of Washington. President Trump has ordered the Secretary of Defense to pay members of the military despite the government shutdown. In a social media post, the president told Secretary Pete Hegseth to use, quote, all available funds to pay troops on October 15th.
Now, I'm going to show this last clip. And this is the type of content that I be talking about, where people do a lot of fear-mongering, especially to black people, because some people just want us to be mad at President Trump when this dude ain't did not a thing to us at all. But let's just check the clip out.
I'd like to say, a little controversial, but I couldn't care less. We have a lot of bad criminals that came into this country, and they came in stupidly. It was an unforced error. It was an incompetent president that allowed it to happen.
And I think most people are like, okay, yeah, sure, bet. I completely understand, get them out of here. But then he goes on to say, and he's like, it may be controversial, but I don't care. But we also have a lot of bad people who were born here.
But we also have a lot of bad people that have been here for a long time. People that whack people over the head with a baseball bat from behind when they're not looking and kill them. People that knife you when you're walking down the street. They're not new to our country. They're old to our country. Many of them were born in our country. I think we ought to get them the hell out of here, too. You want to know the truth. So maybe that'll be the next job that we'll work on together.
Now, if from my calculations, if they're correct, carry the 1 over the 0 and the 2, I think he means citizens. That's what I think he means, because that's the only people who are born here, okay, that we've been here for quite some time. And when you start mentioning criminals, because I started listening to what he was saying, talking about, you get pushed over by into a subway and everything. I'm like, where is he getting this from?
But I think getting them out, we forget about them. We had some bad accidents in New York, and they're not accidents. They were done very much on purpose. People being pushed into a subway just before it arrives, going 40 miles an hour. And they're 10 feet away from where the thing is. You get pushed right into the face of the subway train, get whacked and killed. And these are sick people. I'd like to get them out of here, too.
And then I check it out. I'm like, this is an actual story. Apparently, there was a black man who pushed somebody into the subway, and they were, gravely injured. I'm like, that's interesting. Now, aside from that story, who on God's green earth do you believe that they're talking to in the United States of America, or they're talking about when referencing criminals? Okay, I'll give you some time. Black people, that's who they're talking about. Us. That's what they're talking about.
Wake up, nigga.
To be more specific, black and brown. Okay, that's what but they already have their way for the brown, because that's thanks to ICE and deportation. But now they had a problem with the black people, because one thing they did want is black people. They're like, oh man, goodness gracious, y'all are here. We got no way to get y'all out. So what we're going to do is incarcerate y'all. That's what they did. Now
they're talking about, well, now we got to figure out a way to get you all up out of here. Because the goal, you have to understand the goal, Stephen Miller and the racists that he has in his cabinet is an all-white society. It's an all-white country. They want to go back to like way back in the Naturalization Acts. Because if you read the naturalization laws and stuff like that, it was for white citizens. That's what they want to go back to. That's what their white ignorant base wants to go back to. Now, do I think that they'll be able to survive? No, because racism it's like work for a worker bee. You ever know that if you put a worker bee and you give it nothing to do, it'll die. That's what it'll
Okay, I didn't want to hear any more of that because it was really nonsense. First of all, Trump is talking about criminals. I'm no criminal, so I have nothing to be worried about. And I agree with him. People that do shit like that, because that person could have been me that got pushed over in front of that goddamn subway. But it wasn't, fortunately. And unfortunately, it was somebody else that was maybe mother, son, brother, or whatever to somebody. Yes, I agree. Get their ass up out of here. And you know, one time Trump was talking about actually taking repeat offenders, criminal offenders, and sending their ass far, far, far away from America. I believe that right there is kind of what they need. That's the rehabilitation they need, because once you put them amongst their peers, there's no rehabilitation. You got to put them amongst people who are willing to do worse things than them and show them that they're not really like that in order for them to get some rehabilitation. I don't plan on going and doing no crime. So I ain't worried about nothing Trump is talking about. And you got to think about the 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment, we're not even going to go there, okay? But this is the content that I was talking about. It tries to suggest that Trump is talking about black people are next, when in fact, he never said that. That never came out of his mouth. He's talking about black criminals, repeat offenders. People do that and fearmonger just to get these views and then get people all worked up and scared, and to find a whole nother reason for Trump to be hated. And it's just downright wrong, but I digress. Now, this last clip is going to tell you who's actually affected and who's going to be affected in the future by this shutdown if they don't come to an agreement. Let's check the video out.
Low-income families who rely on government-run food assistance will be in jeopardy if the WIC program runs out of money in the weeks ahead. The more than 13,000 air traffic controllers who ensure that Americans fly safely in airports across the country are currently working without pay. The National Flood Insurance Program is in danger of lapsing, which could leave families without necessary help if a disaster strikes, and we are in the middle of hurricane season. Critical services offered at Social Security field offices are reduced for senior citizens and disabled Americans. Helpful transition assistance programs are not being provided for veterans who fought to defend our country and are now trying to re-enter civilian life. The economic consequences of this shutdown are piling up every day. Policymakers, markets, and even the Federal Reserve are flying blind at a key juncture because BLS and BEA data are on hold until the government reopens. Democrats shutting down the federal government to give health care to illegal aliens could lead to lower growth and higher unemployment rates for Americans. According to a new memo from the Council of Economic Advisors, the U.S. economy could lose $15 billion of growth domestic product each week. Every single week, the Democrat shutdown extends, with a month-long shutdown leading to an additional 43,000 unemployed people.
Well, I'm going to say this and I'm going to leave it here. It's a very selfish thing that the Democrats wanted to shut down. And let's get it clear. The Democrats shut it down. They voted to shut it down. Not the Republicans. They wanted to keep it open. But because the Democrats couldn't get their way, they voted to shut down the government. Nobody's blaming them. We're just telling you the actual facts of what happened. And I think it is selfish to do that because you can't get your way. That is so selfish, and it's hurting millions and millions of people in this country that work federally. And they are still expected to show up to work. It's actually sad, bro. It's sad. I think the reason why they do this is because even though the government is shut down and most federal workers don't get paid, they do it because they still get paid. So it's not literally hurting their pockets. They're not feeling the people's pain, but that's the Democrats. As long as it doesn't bother them and it doesn't affect them, they are not worried about it. But see, them not getting their way on what they want in this bill for the country to move forward, if they don't get that, then this actually affects them, and it affects their pockets, and it affects a lot of their lifestyles. So they say they don't want to lose their lifestyle. So what they're going to do, they're going to put America on hold. Partially, they're going to put America on hold, the federal part of America, just so they can get their way. I honestly feel like it is so selfish. It is 100% selfish, man. But hey, I'm just a regular American citizen. What do I know? Y'all get in the comments and let me know what y'all think about this, because this is crazy. This is 100% crazy. And that's all I got to say on this. And with that being said, like I always say, do what you will with that information. And remember, challenge the argument and not the person. I'll catch y'all in the next one.